What's up, guys? So I'm just kind of sitting here taking a break for a minute in the garage. As you can see, I've got the front suspension removed off the Mark II. I've got the old T-brackets plasma cut and then ground down, as well as the angle iron that held the upper shock mount. This is the back of it here. I just cut off the one side of it, so it's basically a piece of flat stock now. I did nick into my my oil hose right there, so I'm going to need to repair that before I drive it anywhere. But that's kind of what it's looking like right now. I'm about ready to start welding. I've got the new pieces cut out of the same piece of T-bracket as the old ones. So you can see just how much more space we've got over here on this side. This is going to be the top. So when they're like that, that's going to space the entire suspension down, which is going to lift the chassis in relation, which means my steering geometry is going to a lot better, as you guys may have seen in the Haspin update video. My steering geometry used to look like that compared to the frame. Lowering the suspension or lifting the chassis is going to bring it down something more like that, which is a lot more manageable. I think I'm going to leave the steering as is, at least for a little bit. My goal for today is to get it back on all fours, so I can get it out of the garage so we can pull the car back in. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. Let me walk outside and I'll show you guys the hood from Haspin. So I don't think I ever was able to post a video or a picture of it, but I mean, it is wrecked. It's bad. Shoot, it's in the trailer. Coming around. I'll show you guys the parts pile I've got for the steering as well. So in here, I do still have that double barrel exhaust that I do plan on using eventually. I've got a spare steering wheel. Here is the steering rack I'm planning on using. It's super chintzy. I'm not terribly impressed with the quality. However, it's the right size for what I need. And around here, where all we've got is flat cornfields, I think it should do fine. As you can see, the Simplicity's still in here, loaded up from Haspin. I've got this C-channel right here that I think is going to fit nicely between the footboards and the front of the fenders, and that'll give me something that I can dig my heels of my boot into while I'm going down hills, because it was really nice to have that. So coming in here, you can see the two hoods that I've got to pick between. I think I'm leaning towards this one here. It's, well, you know, it's just not as nice as that one, so I won't feel bad about wrecking it, because looking at what happened to the old one, it's gonna get wrecked. So yeah, that happened. Thing is, with these Craftsman hoods, if you want to run them with the factory hinges, you might want to put a tie down, because when they hop up to that 45-degree angle where they're able to lift off and you hit another bump and it flies off, you'll run it over. So, hey, peanut butter. How about that? So, and then with that other steering stuff, I've got my brakes. So I've got one of these cable splitters off of a BMX bike that I plan on using to run from the brake handle that I'm going to put on the shifter. See if I can get it in my hand there. So I have the shifter banging gears, and then have the brakes right there. That will split off to either of these cables. These go down onto the spindle, and I've got the drum brakes, as I may or may not have mentioned several times. This one right here, I did end up finding it, is from Gimpy Rob. He gave this to me. It has been 2018. That is going to be my cruise control cable. I will hook that up to my eventual gas pedal and that'll let me to set a high idle for just tooling around on the trails. The Simplicity is still without the throttle cable because it's still on the Mark II. I stole it, but I stole it from myself, so it's fine. So that's just kind of where I'm at. Taking a break for a few minutes because I'm tired of working on it for the day, honestly. So if I can get this thing to lock. Okay. Also, sorry for the wind noise. I got my $5 welder, that arc welder, that Lincoln from the scrapyard working yesterday. I walk right in here. I ended up putting new cables on it, and I had to change the outlet in the wall. The old one was at 50 amp. Had to put a 30 amp in there. You can see that little right angle piece. Very, very similar, but not quite the same. Close but no cigar, as they say. So the welder does work. I got some new cables on there. I found a place online that's very cheap. It ended up being like, I want to say 70 bucks for everything. And I got 25 feet of cable, which ended up being 50 feet of cable, 25 for the ground, 25 for the power. So really it wasn't too bad. And then I've got my other new Lincoln MIG too. It's no more Harbor Freight welder for me. I ended up giving that to a buddy for helping me move, but that's where I'm at. I'm just gonna keep working on it. Hope to have it on all fours by tomorrow, or by tonight. And then also right here with the spindles, you can see the brakes, but also this piece that the tie rod bolts to is just two pieces of plate put next to each other, and I've already shined them up. I plan on welding at least a little bit of that because I was having issues with those bending, just because the two pieces of sheet metal would be allowed to flex together like that. I'm hoping with them welded solid, it's going to be a lot harder to bend those. So I did notice that those were a little bit weaker than I was hoping for, but everything did seem to work okay. And you can see right there is where I plan on putting that C channel so I can dig my boots in. And yeah, it all should work out okay, I think. So thanks for watching.